Are y'all getting storms? We're under a flash flood warning here in Rutherford County. Are y'all getting storms? We're under a flash flood warning here in Rutherford County. Oh, I hear myself speak. All right, so welcome to Big Mama Friday or early afternoon. We got some bad weather, so I want to do this a little bit earlier than normal. If we lose power, then boom, we're gone, right? So today we're going to talk about life doesn't always send you a warning. Isn't that true? Sometimes things happen to us without warning, but now we're left to deal with it. So the question is how we deal with it. How do we plan for the unexpected? That's what we're going to focus on here this evening. I was trying to get my okay, here we go. All right, give me one sec. Yeah, this thing won't let me do what I wanted it to do. Okay, so we're gonna make this pretty short today. Shorter than normal. This week I went to a glaucoma specialist, to see about my eyes. Now I see 20/20 straight on, but glaucoma is one of those things that affects your eyes from the outer edges in, and there's no cure for glaucoma. So according to the doctor, they don't know when I won't have vision. I don't know when I won't have vision, but if put me on 4 drops now instead of the one they started with, then they went to 2, then they went to 3, now they're at 4. So I'm taking 4 drops 2 times a day. But anyway, that's to slow the progression of the disease down. And some of this stuff can be hereditary. And in my case, it's both hereditary and it came from an injury from back when I was 19 years old. So, and for others, it may be something different. For you, it may be in a heart attack, or it may be in a stroke, unexpected, or it could be trip and a fall, and now you're not able to function like you used to. Any of those things could happen to any of us, but we don't get a warning that it's going to happen. So, what do we do when life throws us a curveball? I mean, a real curveball. Well, we think we have more time sometimes than we actually do. For example, I was talking to one of my potential clients yesterday, and she's 80 years old, and she said that she wished she had gotten life insurance earlier, maybe 10 years ago when she was 70. And I'm not sure how healthy she was. I didn't get that far into the discussion, but she felt like she's going to continue to live, and which we all do. We all feel like we're going to live forever, right? Because that's what was embedded in us when we were created, the longevity of life. So when we don't make the decisions earlier, when we're thinking about it, or when we have an opportunity, putting things off, it makes it more difficult down the road. Now, we may think that our parents or our grandparents, whoever raised us, we may think that they have time. Well, I have time to get to it. I'll make that phone call to mama this week, or I'll call Auntie Betty this week. I'll get to it. Well, what happens if something happens? I can remember I said the same thing. Um, the night before my mom passed, she had just come home from the hospital, and my brother said she was sitting on the couch eating. And I said, okay, I'll call her later. I'll call her tomorrow. You know what happened tomorrow? She passed away. I didn't get a chance to make that phone call. The next call I got was from that brother that I was talking to, who told me she had passed away. So we put it off. I'll get to it. It's not important right now. And sometimes we do the same things with our with people like now who are already living. They appear healthy. They appear like life is going to just go on forever, right? I mean, none of us want to pass away. I don't want to make this about dying or whatever, but it's about us taking care of business when the opportunity is there. So it's just like our big mama. If we take care of big mama opportunities now, we call her now. We go by and visit when we're in the area. We don't put it off. When we put things off, what do we live with the rest of our lives? The regret. Oh, I should have. Oh, I could have. Oh, I meant to be. Oh, I meant to. So we don't want to do that. I know it's almost impossible to be able to call your mama or call your dad or call your aunt, your uncle, or just a friend. It's almost impossible to call them in every instance of your life because you're busy too, right? You have your kids, you have your family, you have work, you have things that you have to do. But it wouldn't hurt to send a text when it's on our mind, right? It wouldn't hurt to call when we're driving to pick up the kids, right? So it's just something to think about. We sometimes put things off and not thinking about the consequences or what may happen afterwards. Now, as you all probably know, I sell um, life insurance, particularly final expense insurance, to older people, and really to anybody, really. But most of my focus is on older people, the senior market, and sometimes it's difficult trying to connect the dots with them. Like I mentioned earlier, she's 80 years old, and she says she wish she had have done it, gotten the coverage 10 years earlier. It would have been so much better for her and her family because now the coverage is going to cost hundreds of dollars opposed to $100, right? So putting things off, and as they say, kicking the can down the road, it doesn't help. It doesn't help because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to have a health issue that come up that prevents us from getting the coverage that we want. Now, we can pretty much cover anybody these days. Anybody that's breathing, we can pretty much get you coverage. But is it the kind of coverage you want? Is it the kind of coverage that's going to benefit your family the most at the right time? Don't know. The best time to get it is when you are healthy and you got it on your mind then. Don't wait. Don't kick the can down the road. So that's really what happens to a lot of us. I mean, we're human and we feel like we're going to live forever and we feel like we'll get to it later. And sometimes that later comes after the major health issue, the heart attack, the stroke, the cancer. That's when we think of, oh, maybe now I need to get that taken care of. And at that time, guess what happened to the cost? Just goes up. There's nothing an agent can do about it. There's nothing the insurance company can do about it because now we are a higher risk. So when you have these things on your mind, take care of them when they're present because we're not promised our health forever. We're just not. So what is planning about? Planning about the if we plan to do these things, it really shows love on the part of the family members and for Big Mama. Um, It isn't about fear. It isn't about something's going to happen to her, so I need to get it taken care of. It's just showing love. Now, does your family know right now, if you went to your big mama house, does your family or the important person in your family, the one that's going to take care of everything, know where all the paperwork is? If Big Mama has a house, or she have a car that she's paying on, or she has a mortgage, do we know how much that mortgage is that she's paying a month? Do we know what happens to the house if she should pass away? Do we know what happens to the house if she becomes ill and she can't live in it anymore by herself? That's something we need to think about because if she's living in a house now, even if it's paid for, if she becomes ill and she can't take care of herself, what happens to the house? Are we ready for that? Have we talked about it with Big Mom? Have we discussed that? Have we as a family discussed it? Because here's what could happen. If she can no longer live by herself in the house, that means someone had to take care of the house. If the house is just sitting there, it's going to rot, and it's no value to anyone. So if no one knows or has a plan for what happens to the property, then Big Mom could lose that house. It can just be given to the state. No taxes being paid. State comes in, takes the house. No property taxes. Boom, water to the state. Just let you know, it's pushed down. Didn't benefit anybody. But if you get it taken care of, have those conversations, even though there's some tough conversations to have those conversations now, and don't kick the can down the road. Who calls who's the person that Big Mama should call or other family members should call if something does happen to her? If she has a fall in the house and no one is there to be with her, who's the person that she should call? Who's the person the hospital is going to call? Who's the person that the doctor's going to call? Right? So that's something that we need to be thinking about now. Have those tough conversations now. Have them written down. Have a plan. And that way, if something happens, it's already decided. Every family member already knows because you sat there at the table and you discussed it. If something happens, then this happens. If something happens to her, then this happens. If something happens to the house, then this happens. If it's discussed and it's taken care of beforehand, before there's a crisis, then you're not in crisis mode trying to make decisions. Now, how many of us have been there in crisis mode trying to make decisions? That is the absolute worst time to try to make these kind of decisions when everybody is in an uproar. The whole family's fussing at each other, arguing with each other. It does nobody any good. A lot of that can be, I'm not saying eliminated, but it can be minimized. It can be minimized if it's taken care of ahead of time. So have you had these conversations about what happens if, or what happens next? If this happens, what happens? Have you had those conversations? See, that's the important part of having a good insurance program in place because it's for the what happens if. It's just like driving a car. Most people who drive a car, they have car insurance, right? It's not because you know you're going to have an accident. You don't know that. I can count on one hand the amount of accidents I've had. And I've been driving, I've had my driver license since I was 16 years old. I bought my first car at the age of 17. And I've had car insurance my whole life since I was 17 years old in high school. Now, some of you all went to high school with me. You remember that little green car we had? The green beat up car. We used to call it the Derby. We drove that car everywhere. That was my first car. We had insurance in that car. My brother and I drove that car everywhere. I've had insurance on my cars all my life, and I've never been in had an at fault accident my whole entire life. I've had people hit me a couple of times, but I've never hit anybody my whole entire life that I've been driving. And that's been what, 17 into 40, 30, 37 years? Now, in 37 years, I haven't had an accident. So that means that I should drop my car insurance because I have not had an accident in 37 years. Would that be wise or smart? No, because car insurance, and like any insurance, is for what happens if. But how many of you all have done this? You drop your coverage, and then next day, boom, you have an accident. As soon as you have it, the next day, boom, tear the car up. Now you got no car insurance. So the same thing is true with our life insurance. Car insurance, you can recover. You can recover. I mean, yeah, you got a lot of stuff you got to pay for. You get past that eventually. But life insurance, you only get one shot. You pass away, you're gone. And there's nothing behind that you left for your family members. So it's the insurance is for what happens basically when, right? What happens when? If this happens, then we need this in place. So when you get that young, get it when you're younger, it's so much more inexpensive and it helps you so much more as you progress throughout your life. All right, so that's why I created this Big Mama checklist because there are things we need to make sure that is taken care of before there's a crisis in the family. Many families break apart. They break up when people start passing away, and especially Big Mama. When Big Mama passes away, their family separates. I mean, I can remember when, from my own personal experience, everybody used to go to our grandparents' house, and then first my granddaddy died, and my grandma was still there, so we used to go down to grandmama's house. And then when she passed away, it was like, where we gonna go to hang out? Where we going? Grandma ain't done no more. Granddad ain't done no more. What we gonna do? It was like little by little, the family just separated. I had my family reunion last week, 2 weeks ago in Tuscaloosa, and I didn't realize I only had three aunts left from my grandmama. Only three of them that are left. Um, so as we get older, things happen, but it's important to keep that family close together. And a lot of times it can be just done by having those conversations, having those tough conversations. Now, while Big Mama is here, she can still direct things. She can still make decisions on her own, and she can be of help. So the greatest gift that you can give your family is not money. It's clarity. It's peace of mind. It's making that one difficult decision day by day and making sure things are just a little bit easier. Instead of waiting till the last minute, waiting till a crisis happens, waiting till Big Mama has a major health issue or a health event or an accident, and then everybody want to come together and start bickering. No, that's not the time. Because it's not going to help her get better. It's not going to help her get well if she's worried about her family bickering over her care. Take care of Big Mama now. She took care of you. Time for you to take care of her. All right, you got any questions out there? I'm going to keep it at 30 minutes because I know long time doesn't work around in these parts in the old video world. I've been doing this on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out how it looks. YouTube's less on Zoom, I can put a background on it. I can put a background on it. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this thing. I'm gonna figure it all out. Promise you. I want to give a shout out to people who are content creators. I will give a shout out to content creators. I was doing my little true and false thing, right? I got you, Pearly. I was doing my little content thing, right? Trying to do it every day, do the true and false, and answer the questions. But man, life gets so busy. I just I just forget to do it. I'm like, man, these content creators, they are like on it. They like every day. I got to get better at that. All right. How many following expense policies should a person have? Well, it depends on how much coverage the person needs. If they have one policy that has the coverage to take care of their funeral, their final expenses, and anything they want to leave behind, then they only need one. If they have not gotten enough that amount taken care of, then they probably need another one to take care of that. But um, if you're talking about if you're looking at a guaranteed issue, final expense policy, most carriers, insurance carriers, will only give you one. They'll only give you one. So you have to find another carrier. You can get one from a different insurance company, but um, you can only get one from a carrier if it's graded or if it's guaranteed issue. All right, what's the minimum policy amount can be offered, and what are the coverage details and eligibility requirements? The minimum policy amount that differs. It depends on the age of the person. Now, the cool thing that I can do as a broker, if you tell me I can afford to pay $50 a month for a policy, I can put that into the system and say, how much money, how much coverage can $50 buy for a person with this age and health status, right? And it'll tell me how much money, how much coverage you can get. If you say I can get $200, I can pay $200 a month, then it'll show me how much coverage you can get. That's a cool thing about being able to be a broker, being a broker. It does. Um, what's up, Mac? Mac Mac Clary, he got into insurance. He got me into insurance years ago. I mean, it had to be over 20 years ago. So we'll give him Mac a shout out. He's down yonder in Mississippi. Is that said? Did I say it right? Mississippi. But Mac's a cool guy. He's been around a long time in the insurance game. Y'all getting them storms down there? We under a flash flood watch here in Tennessee. All right, what else you got, Pearlie? What else you got? Mac, you still in the game insurance business? Can you explain the difference between a graded benefit, modified benefit, and immediate coverage policy? And which one you recommend for people ages 80 plus with diabetes and high blood pressure? Well, a person is 80 with diabetes and high blood pressure. Depends on how controlled the diabetes is. Diabetes and high blood pressure is not necessarily a knockout. It won't keep them from getting the coverage. So it depends on the carrier. 80 is up there. So if they're healthy, if let me just separate those two. If an 80-year-old is still healthy, I'm gonna be like you when I grow up, Mac. So if an 80-year-old is healthy, they can get a regular policy. It doesn't have to be graded or modified. They can get immediate. With the diabetes and high blood pressure, it's probably going to be, it could be modified. Depends on the carrier. It could be modified. Or it might be immediate. It depends how it's controlled. If the person has controlled high blood pressure and diabetes, if they're taking pills, they got diabetes type 2 and not type 1, then they should be good to go. It's going to cost a lot of money, of course, but depends on how much coverage they get. Again, you tell them how much you want to pay, then boom, um, we can tell you how much coverage you can get. But Yeah, that. That's why it's good to be a broker. You can broker it around to different carriers. You do different carriers. I don't know if I'm gonna lose my lights or not because there is a lot of rain in the area and thunder and lightning. So I got time for one more, and then I'm going to get out of here. I got a date with a uh my favorite Mexican restaurant. I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say. One more, and we're out of here. We are out of her. I didn't know you was following me, Mac, on Facebook. If I live to be 100 years old, will the policy still be enforced as long as I continue paying the premiums? It depends on the kind of policy you're talking about here. If it's a whole life policy when you're 100 years old, you could keep that policy or you can just cash it out at age 100. Um, if it's if it's a whole life policy to 110 or 125, then of course you can, yeah, it's it stays in force as long as you pay the premiums. Yes, I guess that's the long way to answer the question. But if you want to, you can cash it out at 100. Some policies you can. But people living longer these days, so insurance companies are extending the coverage like to age 125. I mean, who's living that long anyway? All right, good to see you too, Matt. Yo, you can come up here. My favorite Mexican restaurant is the Margarita House. That's where I'm going tonight. Margarita House. And they got some fire margaritas. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get one tonight or not. I just might, but I don't know. But I do want those chips and salsa before I eat my meal. So I'll let you know how it turns out. All right, next week we should be back on schedule, 7 o'clock, right here on this channel and on the YouTube. All right, if y'all have any questions, if you want to talk about coverage options for yourself, your family members, you can drop me a DM and I'll be glad to help you out and answer any questions that you have. I got you. Chips and salsa, yum. Those are the best because they are hot and they don't have too much salt on the chips. I mean, the chips come fresh, they're hot on the plate, and they don't have too much salt on them. I love their chips and salsa. I can just sit there and eat their chips and salsa and not eat anything else. But that ain't gonna happen. All right, people, we out of here. Appreciate you. Good to see you, Mac. Thank you, Pearly and Peterson Agency, for being here. We'll see you guys later. And I'm going to do more true and false. Promise. All right, see y'all. Deuces. This means I love you in sign language. This means deuces. Later. I gotta get Zoom.